Could somebody please make it make sense?
Hey everybody, welcome to A Pop of Culture. I'm your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, and this is A Pop of Culture, which is my video essay podcast where I speak on pop culture, social justice, and the human experience from a black, bisexual male perspective. Everything, and I mean everything I say, should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a recent college grad with access to a recording device and the internet. With that being said, my shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views unless it's truly relevant. If you disagree with anything I say, let's have a civil conversation in the comment section below. Before we get into the topic of this video, which is going to be me directly addressing Qaadir Howard's Legends, I want to advertise my cover channel, A Pop of Culture Sings, where I sing throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, pop music, whatever I'm feeling, whatever you're feeling. So if you wanna be down like Brandy, and if you're not down with my click, then you just boo-boo on a stick. R.I.P. Aaliyah, then definitely feel free to check that channel out. In today's video, I'm going to be directly addressing Qaadir Howard's Legends. I've talked about Qaadir, I've talked about what he's done with his brand, but I want to talk about how the Legends are negatively impacting Qaadir's brand. I will be reading from a teleprompter, so it'll be a little bit different, but I wanted to give y'all this camera quality. I bought a new camera, a new to me camera with a new to me lens, so wanted to give y'all this quality, this visual, but I also wanted to give y'all that script because I have I'm going off with the script. So enjoy and watch this to see this beautiful face, this beautiful skin, or you can just listen to it as a podcast. Enjoy. I'm going to start the teleprompter while also starting to speak, while also starting to record, so you may see me go in and out of focus, but it's okay. We'll make it through. Today's video is for all the current Qaadir Howard fans, or as he would call you, legends. I wanted to make this video because I feel a lot of the actions y'all, the legends, do, believing you're helping Qaadir, are actually contributing to the decline of him, his channel, his Patreon, his overall social media brand, and his future career outlooks. Qaadir is a feminine, black, gay Muslim man seeking to enter into the music and overall entertainment industry as a mainstream act as a 33-year-old man with limited vocal and dance training. In any industry, being an openly feminine, black gay man can be difficult, lead to discrimination, and come with barriers to entry. But the entertainment industry in particular is known for being ageist, racist, sexist, classist, homophobic, xenophobic, and transphobic, meaning a person like Qaadir would have substantial barriers to break through in order to make it. Even if Qaadir was the most talented singer, actor, and rapper and easy to work with, different aspects of his identity would still have the potential to make it more difficult for him to get opportunities. Think about it. Notori Naughton and Coco Jones could sing and dance their butts off, but did that stop the colorism? Ellen was talented and funny, but did that stop her from facing consequences when she came out as gay? JoJo could sing her butt off and was competing with artists who could have mothered her, but her label still had her on a strict caloric deficit. The entertainment world is often unkind to people who don't fit their standards, regardless of talent and ability. The slim chance Qaadir has to make it as an older person in entertainment and music with limited training, limited industry experience, and a limited network in entertainment goes from slim to none when you consider his entitled, arrogant attitude and tendency to spout non-politically correct things that are either simply offensive or offensive and inaccurate. The legends claim their hope is that Qaadir one day makes it in entertainment. In today's video, I want to open your mind to the possibility that your behavior as a legend is a part of what's holding him back from making his dreams come true. I'm making this video because though Qaadir is a huge part of the downfall of his social media brand, I don't think he alone is to blame. And I hope through speaking out on the toxic behaviors of the legend, you will stop enabling him. If people stop coddling and enabling Qaadir, maybe he will learn to take accountability for himself and do the work he needs to do to make his dreams come true. Before we get into the different instances of how people coddle and enable Qaadir Howard, I want to address why I theorize people coddle and enable him in the first place. I feel people enable and coddle Qaadir because he has created an environment where he is to be pitied. What do I mean by this? He constantly mentions the death of his mother, the fallout with the label he agreed to sign with, clearly without adequate research, previous experiences of homophobia and trauma, and his past career failures as a way to make you feel bad for him. Not only feel bad for him, but feel bad enough that you give him money. Sidebar. It's funny to me how Qaadir tells people they are stupid for going to college. However, he signed into a contract with a recording label who clearly was not in line with his artistic vision and who could have easily exploited his naivete for their financial gain. Going back to the topic at hand, Qaadir reduces himself to his trauma because through the lens of his trauma, he is no longer a 33-year-old able-bodied man smoking weed all day, refusing to work, begging for money. He is a victim to be pitied by all. A charity case we must throw money at. Funky Dineva, another black gay content creator, creator, only 5 years Qaadir Sr., is open about the many traumatic incidents he's experienced in his life. But unlike Qaadir, he doesn't mention these incidents as a way to make others pity him or send him money. He is proof it is possible to share traumatic incidents without using them as a way to elicit sympathy in the form of donations or to evade accountability. Qaadir could easily present himself as a strong, independent black man who provides for himself, but he chooses to present himself as a frail, weak individual mortally wounded by his own trauma, because that's what gets the donations flowing. He doesn't want you to see him as capable for doing for himself, because if you did, you wouldn't feel pressure to give him money. While yes, the traumatic incidents he describes did happen and justifiably have impacted him, he implies because these bad things happened to him, he doesn't have to be held accountable for his own wrongdoings, or operate as an adult by working to earn the income necessary to provide for himself and pay for all of his expenses. Somehow you, as his audience member, is responsible for making his ends meet, even though 1, he's just as able-bodied as you to get a job to provide for himself. 2, you have gone through traumatic experiences as well, but aren't given the privilege of choosing not to work and beg others for money. 3, other content creators with a fraction of his numbers are able to support themselves using the same platforms he has access to without resorting to begging, including content creators who are way younger than him. If people in their early 20s can figure out how to go full-time on social media, what's Qaadir's excuse? 4, I had another one. Something clearly was working for Qaadir in the past. It'd be different if he never did social media full-time, making decent income. But he was already doing it, so why can't he just reverse engineer what worked before? Another sidebar. It's so funny to me how Qaadir will brag to his viewers about the fact that he's a homeowner. This never made sense to me because while it's a beautiful thing his mother left him her home, generally speaking, you brag about things you work to buy. It's the equivalent of a child of rich parents bragging about making a major purchase. 9 times out of 10, that child made that purchase because of their parents' hard work, not their own. Destiny's Child states it best in their 2001 #1 hit, Independent Woman Part 1. The house I live in, I bought it. And bragging on the house that she gave you is a front. If you're gonna brag, make sure it's your money you fund. Depend on no one else to give you what you want. Something like that. It makes no sense to brag about living in a home when it appears you can barely, if even, afford to maintain it. End of sidebar. In summary, Qaadir self-victimizes in order to be coddled and enabled by his audience, and also to pressure them to give him money in order to avoid working a regular job, which he feels he is too good for. What's sad is a lot of his legends work full-time or are full-time students. They themselves are either putting hours each day into their career or future career, and somehow they think that him smoking weed on live stream with no topic is somehow worthy of comparable pay or respect to their hours of labor, studying, or labor and studying. They give Qaadir sums of money that equate to hours of their time, and they rarely even get a thank you. He isn't a good shepherd of their money, as it's gone as quick as it comes, which shows a disrespect to the donors. He doesn't spend their hard-earned money gifted to him in ways that would yield him more money and more success, because he feels entitled to an endless supply of pity money. It doesn't matter if I spend legendary Father Stefan's seed on some weed. I'll just beg for another few $100s in a few weeks. A cycle of dependency on others' money is formed where he can't do good with it but can't survive without it. I also speculate one of the reasons why the money is always gone so quickly is how crazy expensive it is to be broke. If you aren't making a certain amount of income where you can afford to comfortably pay for all of your expenses, put money into savings, and also pay off your debts, you're likely going to remain in a vicious cycle of owing others and having little to no savings, which is scary when you consider things like medical emergencies and unforeseen circumstances. Think about it. Without working a full-time job, Qaadir has to cover phone bills, utilities, property taxes, food, weed, gas, the real type of gas, insurance, pet food, other pet-related expenses, and that's not considering anything creative he wants to do, which would mean lessons, vocal, dancing, studio time, equipment, etc. Maybe enough patrons remain to allow him to pay for the majority of his monthly expenses on that alone, but the numbers are not looking good. Qaadir has ignored debt collectors on his phone in multiple podcasts, so it seems he's unable to meet the expenses on his Patreon income alone. Now that we have addressed why the legends feel the need to coddle and enable Qaadir, let's break down exactly how they do it. The first way that Qaadir's legends enable and coddle him is by paying him despite not getting the services they want and are paying for. It's funny Qaadir's lyrics state, "I didn't pay you because B, I didn't get the service," when his whole brand is centered around him getting paid while providing no services. Someone make that make sense. A few days ago while I was in the shower, I was thinking to myself, why did Qaadir keep posting those low-quality weed-induced live streams when he knew his audience didn't want them? And I had a realization. He kept posting them because he knew even though his followers preferred story times, gameplays, and commentary, they would still pay him enough money for him to scrape by and buy himself weed in exchange for the subpar content because of their unhealthy relationship with him, where they feel the need to pay for his living expenses, despite him being a grown adult who can pay for them himself. He was inconsistent with Patreon because he knew that enough of his audience would stay subscribed out of pity for him and this feeling that they are responsible for keeping him out of poverty. By constantly victimizing himself, he has corrupted the purpose of Patreon and tips for content creators. A Patreon is supposed to be a place where you pay a little each month to gain access to additional content from a creator and also support them financially. However, by not creating content consistently on this platform while charging people $5 to $15 a month or $60 to $180 yearly, he's taking advantage of people's desire to see him do well. The sad thing is Kimberly Nicole Foster at 𝑭𝒐𝒍𝒐𝒘, who is a year younger than Q, has a only slightly higher subscriber count, but her Patreon income alone is substantial enough to be a full-time income, and that's not counting her other streams of income like YouTube that allow her to fluctuate from $20,000 to $40,000 a month in income. Qaadir, also known as Is That Your Hair, is a lifestyle and hair creator 3 years younger than Q, who works as a full-time teacher while posting consistently to YouTube and other socials. She's used her AdSense income and full-time income to invest in her channel, which is thriving, going from a phone to a mirrorless 4K camera and 0 to over 30,000 subscribers in 3 years. Notice something. Notice how much easier it is to invest in your content when you're not relying on donations as your only source of income. If Qaadir was relying solely on her early $100 monthly AdSense checks, she would have never gotten to where she is. Now let's make it clear. Comparing Qaadir to other content creators is not to diminish him or his accomplishments, but it's just to show you he could easily make money, good money, if he got out of his own way. Now look here. If you pay attention, he was once able to support himself on YouTube and Patreon without working a job. However, once the quality of his YouTube and Patreon dropped, he was no longer able to do so and began demanding donations. I'm going to go off script for a minute, but think about that. He was able to put in work and receive money for that work. He stopped putting in the work, but he wanted to get money for free. Don't y'all see that's an issue? There was and is a direct correlation to the quality of his work and the number of paying patrons and returning viewers. Okay, let's start some fun Q&A. Ask yourself a few questions. 1. I love the fingers, I love pointing. If Qaadir saw his Patreon numbers dropping due to lack of uploads, why didn't he start posting more consistently again to gain more patrons and potentially gain back patrons who left? Answer, my thoughts. Because he didn't want to put the work in anymore and could scrape by off of the generosity of the legends. When you're getting enough money to scrape by not trying, you have no reason to try harder if you don't care. Qaadir receiving payment while providing subpar content on smoking live streams disincentivized him from having to innovate and make the content his audience actually wanted. Like they say, why pay for the cow when you can get the milk for free? 2. If Qaadir saw he wasn't making as much on YouTube, why didn't he go back to making the content he knew his audience wanted so he can make more AdSense or try new things that could help his content reach new eyes? My theorized answer, because he didn't want to put the work in anymore and could scrape by off the generosity of the legends. Another question, question 3. Why did Qaadir block the constructive criticism provided by Julian, Suddenly Blue 2, and other patrons regarding his lack of consistent Patreon content and upload a diss track towards those individuals instead of taking in the feedback? My theorized answer, because he was unwilling to put in the work and could scrape by off the generosity of the legends. Do you see a pattern here? I see a pattern here. He literally blocked Julian, a paying patron, for asking why content wasn't being uploaded. This man was willing to turn away a paying customer instead of admitting he was wrong and apologizing. Where they do that at? Imagine Walmart doing that. You say, hey, the bathroom is dirty, somebody needs to go in there and clean it. And they throw you out for pointing out the issue. Qaadir doesn't see himself as a businessman. When being a content creator, especially on Patreon, you're providing a service for customers, your patrons, and on some level, you have to care about them and honor their wishes if you wish for them to continue paying. If you're making YouTube videos that are free to watch, you can do whatever you want. Understanding, not listening to your audience might impact your reach and your income. However, once you decide to create on a platform like Patreon, where you're going to be charging people monthly, you no longer have the ability to throw your head in the sand when it comes to constructive criticism. Yes, people aren't paying you with a like or a view. As you would say, they're not paying you in the spiritual, they're paying you in the material. It makes no sense how Qaadir had the time to film a music video and record a song clapping back at people for asking for the services that they paid for, but not enough time to upload podcasts, gameplays, and cooking videos. Time to get real. He doesn't care about you, because if he did, he would value your feedback and honor your request as loyal members of his audience. But he doesn't, because you're a Cash App or Patreon payment to him first, then a person. I remember legendary mother Hannah asking about getting to hang out with Q after the concert. She'd literally just sent him hundreds of dollars, and he blew her off without a second thought. That had to hurt. Qaadir has corrupted the tip model for content creators. You give a content creator a tip as a thank you for a good job and or as a way to support their goals for their channel in future, not out of obligation and them guilt tripping you. My catch up's below if you want to send it up. Anyways, part of what's endearing about following a creative is seeing the sacrifices they put into their art and making it happen. However, when he won't even sacrifice a few hours of his day to either upload content to Patreon, other social media platforms, or work a job to get the money to invest in himself, why are you, a stranger, expected to do that? Qaadir himself coined the phrase "sow a seed," which would imply donating to him, you are sowing into his goals as a content creator and as an artist. That would imply your money would be spent purchasing better equipment, studio time, dance and vocal lessons, mixing and mastering by an actual producer, etc. He states that he would love to do gaming content, but part of the reason why he can't is because of his technology limitations. Yet, funnily enough, none of the seeds he's gotten over the past 2 years have gone into him purchasing that equipment that he wants to so badly purchase so that he could give you the gaming content. When he gets the money he wants so badly, there is no transparency as to where it went, just a demand for more. There is never enough. And why is that? It's because he got too used to y'all paying him, regardless of the quality of work he presented. Because his audience is trauma bonded with him, they see him as a victim who they must support no matter what. And that unwarranted support has caused Qaadir to feel he deserves something for nothing. To the legends, if you remained a patron continuing to give him money when you were dissatisfied with his content, your money implied to him that his low effort, low quality content was worthy of receiving payment. Sometimes I wonder to myself, if Qaadir didn't get those donations when he was begging and pleading like Brandy, if his subscribers refused to give him something for nothing, if that would have given him the kick in his behind he needed to go out and do what he needed to do. As long as he is still sucking off the teat of his audience, he has no reason to be the adult he has to be to grow. If you give a mouse a cookie, he'll probably ask for milk. If you give a weed-addicted, entitled, struggling artist enough money to scrape by, he'll probably coast by on that generosity as long as he can. Whew, that was a lot. The second way I see y'all enabling and coddling Qaadir is through gassing him up in ways that feel very inauthentic. I feel a lot of the legends want to remain in Q's good graces, so you only give him positive feedback in order to avoid being blocked. Here's my issue with that. Qaadir's content as it is not attracting new eyes. As long as he makes these long, ranty live streams that aren't searchable or short, catering to potential viewers' short attention spans, he will not be able to increase his AdSense revenue or gain new patrons. So it might feel good to say, "Yas mother, you ate," after a mediocre live stream with barely any funny or entertaining moments, because it'll give you a higher rank in the legendom. But realize something, learn something. That comment is only encouraging the mediocrity. People have gotten wise to the fact that you can make substantial income on social media, and the competition is fierce. People used to look at social media and YouTube and being a YouTuber as this weird thing for socially awkward people, but the cat is out of the bag. People are making bank simply making videos, talking about and doing hobbies, in a world where we're told our only value is doing work we don't want to do. YouTubers are breaking through, becoming celebrities in their own right, being invited to the Met Gala, becoming multimillionaires, and now everyone wants a slice of the pie. Everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. The local soccer moms, your pastor, your great grandma, everyone's on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Big O, Station Head, YouTube, and the time for complacency has come and gone. Being an OG creator is no longer enough to maintain a viewership, and with Qaadir refusing to claim his title on YouTube or make a mark on other platforms like Big O and TikTok, he will be left behind. Time to get real. He's already been left behind by most of his subscribers. I will admit Qaadir has created an environment where he is to be blindly praised, but you as fans don't have to play into that. Qaadir, in my opinion, is already very delusional to think that he can have this massive A-list celebrity success without putting in heaps of work. And by praising him for the bare minimum, you're co-signing that delusion, that he can make it without work. Think about it like this. Come in. The quick comfort that he'll get from your comment praising his lackadaisical choreography, if you can call it that, or a mean-spirited Best Buy rant disguised as a story time, will fade seconds after he reads it, and it will contribute to his complacency that will keep him begging and broke. However, a comment giving him suggestions on how he could fine-tune his content to make everyday experiences like this Best Buy one more entertaining and digestible, if applied by Qaadir, could yield him a longer lasting comfort, as it could lead to him creating content that was profitable and increased his following and engagement. The thing I want y'all to get is when you take off the trauma bond colored glasses, his content isn't appealing to anyone who isn't already emotionally invested in him. But if utilized, his talents could feed him and open up doors for him. As long as y'all give Qaadir a participation trophy for those live streams, you're encouraging the cycle of complacency that's making him unhappy. When you act like a delusional person's delusions are true, instead of giving them the truth, you are allowing them to exist in a false reality and setting them up to fail when others who don't care are real with them. You are playing an active role in his long-term unhappiness, which is very bad. I've been civil for the majority of this video, and now I'm going to get a little more heated. While only giving Qaadir positive feedback is damaging, what's even more damaging to him is silencing and vilifying constructive criticism formed towards him. As the quality of Qaadir's content has declined, he has gotten many kind messages with suggestions on how to improve, and those kind, well-meaning comments are treated as hate by not only Qaadir, but y'all, his legends. And I don't understand for the life of me why. Constructive criticism is about helping somebody get better. It's not an attack, it's not tearing them down. I will never forgive the legends who vilified, attacked, and censored myself and others for being honest with Qaadir about the realities of his brand on social media. How dare you fix your keyboard to attack somebody for being real with Q about the reality of things, when all you're doing is fueling the delusions. I'm in the real world, and in the real world, people in the YouTube algorithm don't care about you being the source or doing it since 2006. It's about what you've done lately. And anyone who tries to stand in between Qaadir and the truth is an op, in my opinion. Point blank, period. Let's get to the nitty gritty. You moderators who block criticism of Qaadir are so foolish. Blocking constructive criticism is the equivalent of a child screaming, "Nana, nana, boo, boo, I can't hear you," when somebody is saying something they wish not to hear. Let's make something very clear. The criticism doesn't cease to exist because you've blocked the person saying it. You've just made the complacency echo chamber that much stronger and cost Qaadir future comments on videos and lives from that person. Less engagement, less views, less being pushed out in the algorithm. Great job, moderators. You, alongside Q, have alienated people from feeling safe speaking out against him. Attacking those who gave him constructive criticism made it harder for him to receive and apply that constructive criticism, continuing his unhappiness and dissatisfaction. Once again, great job. But all of this pales in comparison to the final way y'all have enabled Qaadir. I'm reading from the script, but I'm feeling it. I will never forgive the fact you have allowed Qaadir to spread his bigoted and ignorant beliefs unchallenged. Qaadir has bashed the Black community and made several anti-Black statements. He's attacked Black Lives Matter, he's attacked the LGBT community, the Black LGBT community, and other Black gay men, even going as far to have said he wished they were drowned by their bullies, and that he was glad Dave Chappelle came for the community. The nerve of Qaadir to act like he's this legendary gay icon on YouTube who deserves all the opportunities when he bashes other Black gay men every chance he gets. He attacks successful Black gay men and claims their success is only because they are Qaadir type, whatever that means, getting opportunities because he's allegedly been blackballed and shadow banned. He's made colorist statements, he's made transphobic statements, he's made fatphobic statements, ableist statements, he's slut-shamed, he spread COVID misinformation time and time again and called the death of people's loved ones collateral damage. He's anti-vax and spread misinformation about the vaccines, and y'all have said nothing. He's literally called Barack Obama a freaking. He co-signs Pizzagate and other disproving conspiracy theories, and y'all have said nothing. You sat by and let him bash Britney Spears, a woman whose human rights were being taken away from her. There's essentially no boundary he hasn't crossed when it's come to his commentary, and none of y'all have publicly called him out in the chat for his statements. Let's go there. I know some of Qaadir's fans are okay with the self-hate, anti-Black, anti-LGBT, COVID misinformation, and conspiracy wave, but I know a lot of y'all aren't, and are allowing this man to say any and everything out of fear of being blocked. A lot of Qaadir subscribers have their subscriptions public, so you can see other content creators they follow, and there is a clear incongruence in the politics of the other content creators y'all follow and Q. Y'all done told on yourselves. You cannot be subscribed to fiercely pro-Black women, Black female content creators like For Harriet, 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒔𝒕, Seren Sensei, and Nappy Headed Jojoba, and not see the issues of Qaadir's anti-blackness and how he speaks on black women, like Grace Adetoro. You cannot excuse him attacking Grace's hair, her body, her breast, and her weight. Let's go even further. You cannot in good conscience be subscribed to The Grapevine, a panel full of educated, diverse black millennials, articulate and willing to have conversations about controversial topics that remain civil and remain respectful of all panelists, R.I.P. Aisha. Then go back to the Qaadir Howard show, where your appearance and identity are subject to be attacked if you speak anything to him but praise. You cannot be subscribed to pro-black, pro-LGBT, black queer male YouTubers like Adrian Expression, Justin J, Funky Dineva, Tariq Ali, Timothy Blaine, Nico's Aesthetic, and others who have pride in their identity and advocate for their community, not just themselves, while also speaking on issues within the community. And also be subscribed to Q, and not see an issue with the way Qaadir speaks on the LGBT community and other black queer men. By following him and not only being silent, but praising him during moments of misinformation, moments where he's attacked the LGBT community, and moments of anti-blackness, that phobia, colorism, you were and are complicit and cannot label yourself an ally or an advocate of any of the groups mentioned, or of science and medicine. Even if you silently agreed with Qaadir's viewpoints, if you truly wanted him to be successful, you would tell him to stop bringing up these topics and views that would alienate his audience, and also likely stop future opportunities. But you coddle and enable him, yet again, placing his momentary comfort and your desire to not be blocked over saying what's right, or at the bare minimum, over making him aware of the fact he's sabotaging his own brand. For the past 2 years, the legends have been the only voices Qaadir has been willing to listen to. And what good have y'all done him? Comment. Let me know. What tangible successes have your coddling granted him? I'll wait. The way I see it, every time y'all block or attack valid criticism or are dishonest with him about his content, you're pushing him a little further from his dream. Do better. Be better. Don't allow a content creator to allow you to censor or attack others or to be silent when they're flat out wrong. See this man for who he really is, and not through his lens of self-victimization. Allow him to take accountability for himself, to stand on his own 2 feet as the adult he is, like we all have to. Refuse to enable and coddle someone who wants a career that requires the opposite. If you want him to win, stop doing the things that stand in the way of that. Now that's legend behavior. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you like this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the points I made in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share. That way, even if YouTube isn't pushing my content, those who resonate with it are sharing it so it can connect with others who would enjoy it. Those are some easy, free ways to support a pop of culture. If you want to support this show financially, feel free to send a tip to my Cash App or buy me a cup of coffee. Both are linked below. All who donate will be featured in the credits of my long-form commentary and cover videos. There are 2 playlists that are going to pop up, one where you can binge watch my covers and one where you can binge watch my commentary. Enjoy. Bye-bye.